we need to touch on that book, chapter 1 from The Gray Lady Winks, but I think we need to get to the
Ministry of
the
Truth?
ministry.
Well,
So
they're not going to call it the Ministry of Truth. They've solved the problem. You just call it Ministry of Disinformation,
No, but
and then it's not the Orwellian Ministry of Truth. Don't worry.
It's so beyond the pale. They call it the Disinformation Governance Board. Governance Board is a ministry. Disinformation is another word for truth. So you have your Ministry of Truth by, it's not even by another like far-fetched name. It's literally just synonyms for the existing words. They're going to, what the heck is this Disinformation Governance Board going to do? How do they set it up? What powers does it have? And is this not an overt example of policy trying to dictate how social media platforms, what's the word? When they curate their content? I mean, is this not interference from the government with social media?
Yeah, I mean, it's multiple levels. So it looks like they were originally going to make it part of the National Security Council and pretend it was only going to be foreign disinformation. And this is consistent with the original Smith-Mundt Modernization Act and all of that, which we discussed a couple of weeks ago. And that was changed by Obama to liberalize the means by which the U.S. could disseminate disinformation domestically as well as internationally. That government-sponsored, government-subsidized, government-paid-for, government-promoted propaganda could now be domesticated legally within the existing funding structure, when before it was supposed to be only international. We limited our lies just to foreign audiences officially. This is, Pearl Harbor, Gulf of Tonkin, incubator babies. You can figure out how well that worked. But but then they decided, but the theory there is you're monitoring foreign information. That's the Foreign Intelligence, Surveillance Act. All of those things fit within that legal capacity that when you're monitoring something that's foreign, like stealing Russian assets, as an example, theoretically, it's not necessarily governed by constitutional constraint. You're governing things outside of the border, and there the Constitution's application varies, hence Guantanamo, hence rendition to various foreign places where we torture people. Theoretically, it's not under U.S. jurisdiction. So but they decided to step it up. They're seeing how Ukraine war propaganda was working like a charm, especially including amongst the so-called conservatives, and said, hey, why don't we just put this under the Department of the Securitas for the Fatherland, which I've always loved. We created the Department of Homeland Security after 9/11, which sounded exactly like the Fatherland Securitas from the Nazi days. It was like, somewhere around Dr. Strangelove was up there designing this stuff, with his arm. He just can't, he's trying to keep it from doing the salute, during the film. That's how these people are. And so in fact, the woman they put in charge of it, aside from being nutty and having a lot of very embarrassing social media posts, she has been herself a minister of disinformation for the past half decade, especially as it related to Russia, Ukraine, and Trump, but not limited to it or restricted to it. Apparently has family ties to the far west of Ukraine, where a lot of the ultra-nationalism neo-Nazis originated way back before the Second World War, in between the First and Second World War. So, but that's what it appears to be. And what was amazing is Mayorkas let the cat out of the bag, the head of the Secretary for the Department of Homeland Security, at a congressional hearing last week, because apparently none of this has ever been legislatively authorized. None of this went through any Administrative Procedure Act notice and comment as to its rules, its governance, its guidelines, its appointments. None of that. Nobody that's been appointed to it has ever been approved of by the Senate. It was just created out of the blue and sort of hidden within our massive government bureaucracy to basically govern and control and censor and recommend censorial attitudes and behaviors and organize it in a centralized manner with governmental support and subsidy. And you're right. It raises everybody that's got a case, whether it's Bobby Kennedy's case against Facebook, Berenson's case against Twitter, everybody out there should now ask to supplement the record with reference to this body, because apparently this body's already existed. It's been going for a little bit, apparently.
Well, Jen Psaki admitted it. We asked them, we monitor, and they have backdoor channels to social media platforms. We know that. But Robert, first of all, we just hit 10,000 viewers live on YouTube. So congratulations. Here's your gift, people. The video. Robert, do you see this?
Yes, yeah, because this is the nut job that's ahead of all this. That's the
ferocious. It's when a huckster takes some lies and makes them sound precocious by saying them in Congress.
First of all, it's Hank's wife from Breaking Bad. But let's keep going.
Disinformation's origins are slightly less atrocious.
Oh my God, it's that
how
part.
You hide a little lie, little lie. It's how you hide a little lie, little lie. It's how you hide a little lie when Rudy.
What happens when you put cat ladies who are big fans of Rachel Maddow with power over your information? That's basically what you have. You know, she's got like 8 cats in the background.
I did not notice that.
Probably screaming and wanting to attack her for singing that badly.
Well, I was gonna say, in fairness, she has it. You know, it's decent voice. It's high school. Pitch perfect stuff. But that's good. And by the way, that's
the Mary Poppins of misinformation.
Well, that's the thing. It's not just an embarrassing video from her past. And look, if I ever become prime minister or I don't know, governor, and someone's gonna pull up a video of me waxing my legs with a drone, fine, that'll be embarrassing. But it's on the substance of this video. She's talking about misinformation, and I mean, it's almost describing exactly what they're doing. But there are so many videos, and her active role in promoting misinformation. It's very fitting that she should end up where she is. But Robert, this segues into, oh gosh, Gulf of Tonkin. You give a bunch of examples of classic misinformation in the past. Can you describe a few of them? Gulf of Tonkin, for example. Let's just deal with that one. What's the deal with Gulf of Tonkin for anybody who wants to use this as an example in discussion with someone else tomorrow?
Well, that's going to be a hush-hush this week at vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Is the Gulf of I think it'll be our 5th false flag, because I've covered Remember the Maine, to hell with Spain, covered the sinking of the Lusitania, covered Pearl Harbor, covered, and which one? Oh, I think I covered when the Japanese excuse for invading China the first time. But so this will be the 5th in that series of false flags. And then later on, we have the Gulf of Tonkin relates to the Vietnam War. Then we will have the incubator babies, which is Iraq story number 1. Then we'll have everything related to bin Laden, which is Afghanistan. Then we have everything related to weapons of mass destruction for Iraq War number 2. Then we have maybe Gaddafi's got weapons for Libya. Then we've got, fake false flags of chemical weapons attacks for twice to justify attacks on Syria. We have bombing the wrong place in Sudan and Somalia. We have some of the exaggerated and one-sided allegations related to the bombings of Serbia. So the false flags are numerous and endless. And then we got it for every other country. We got, the Reichstag for Nazi Germany that justified their seizure of emergency powers. We got the Soviet-Finnish War, where they, they bombed themselves just like the Japanese did to justify going into Finland. I got some Finnish ancestry in my DNA. There's a long history and litany of these. Again, Orwell's predicted this. 1984 was not supposed to be a predictive script or prescriptive script for governments to utilize. But as Zelensky's speech, remember Zelensky's speech to Congress looked almost exact. Somebody took the 1984, the cinematic version of it, and said, hey, let's replicate that for Zelensky's speech to Congress. These people really think this is a guidepost to utilize.
I got to bring it up, Robert. You're going to have to do USS Liberty as well.
Oh, I already have. I've already covered that at a hush-hush. It's not what people think it is.
Okay, well, I'm going to go back and watch it because I know what I thought I've learned about it. And I want to talk about this. Cats cause insanity. It is, I'm wondering if there's some truth to this, because there is toxoplasmosis, which you find in the feces of cats, which causes insanity. Possible.
So I have another reason to dislike animals. That's good.
And Robert, wait a minute. Where can we watch this hush-hush?
At vivabarneslaw.locals.com.